Thanks for the opportunity of talking here. It's great for us. So I'm Didier Mignery from Factor. Factor is a company that I created in 2017 and which came from my experience as an architect. So in fact, I created an architectural agency 15 years ago, which I realized more than 300 of projects, mainly in social housing renting. And this architecture agency allowed me to develop my first project of elevation, of upward elevation, in Paris, Rue de la Sablière in the 14th district. This operation was a founding one for me, since it helped us to understand that the stakes of what a project of upward elevation would be, but also that were a lot of everywhere in the cities. So, and all the more since the law change in 2014 that have removed the land use coefficient. It's very important in France, and allow many derogation. So the main problem that as an architect, this project, it took us 10 years to complete this first project. It's a huge problem. You know, it's above all, as an architect, we lack a lot of skill to carry out this kind of project. Expertise in building engineering, but also legal, administrative, assembly operation. This is the reason why we created a Factor. By bringing together in a single entity architectural, technical expertise, but also digital technology. Quickly, we have the intuition that, oh, it's okay. No, it's not working. Oh, perhaps, no. Yeah, it's a video, yeah. Perhaps. Going. Oh. Quickly, we have the intuition that we have to address this market of upward elevation by the mass. We have to be able to develop a software that would allow us to do automatic feasibility studies. Called a Factor GeoService. Oh. No. Perhaps. No. How software developed in-house is a geographic information system. Yeah. Perhaps. It's a geographic information system in which we have the cadastre. Yes. Yeah, for sure, it's okay. And we have geographic information system when we have the cadastre, the breadth right of the way, but also the height of the building. We have managed and rebuilt. So we obtain the profile of the roof, but also the exact measurements. So after calculating the width of the streets, we applied the urban planning, and we have previously incorporated by the open data of the cities. This approach allows us to analyze each address or a list of addresses, and to be able to have the potential of every buildings, the potential of elevation. For now, we are in advanced search. We are now able to do some complete analysis of neighborhood and metropolis to define a strategy of large-scale increase. And once the potential, next, I can't. Yeah, it's okay. Once the potential has been identified, this approach is supplemented by more conventional studies, with the result found or compared with the reality of instructor of building permits of the cities. As regard of the elected one, we are able to quickly help our customers to elect one project rather than others. So, as you can see, perhaps, if you can see, perhaps here, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, as you can see, in the following illustration. We also insist in the fact that we have integrated in-house engineering, structure making, depth in studies, such as defining building permits, and as possible, the construction, dimension, and load recovery. Sometimes, like in this case, we must limit the increase of 2 levels, 2 levels when 5 could be permissible. Why? Because the important for a factor is to reconciling project and maintain building in operation, you know, and it's very important to apply this kind of project in upward elevation. Who is our targets? Our targets, it's first primarily the social donor, who are the first interested in this approach. In particular, we analyze the asset of a company called CDC Habitat in Paris. It's a subsidiary of the Caisse des Dépôts and Consignation. For one of these entities called VELUX, we analyze with our software 186 buildings in a few minutes. And we detected 28 raised the roof project building immediately. It's incredible, but it's true. And by this, we offer 2 gifts to this social landlord. New housing without buying land, and adapting the existing building to the new of today's life, with today's life. For now, for example, in this is 63 new apartments. And for sure, it's at the moment where they plan a renovation plan for this building. So it's the good moment to have this approach. Now we're able to detect for VELUX 6 priority operations that generate over 11,500 square meters potentially to be raised in Paris. It's a real opportunity for social donor that will, in the coming year, lead to the virtuous rereading of the existing patrimony. So this approach interests to a large-scale real estate company, like a particularly large insurance company, like Covea here in Paris. And for example, they entrust us with a part of its assets in Paris, and we detect one project like this, where we find 352 square meters. It's only 4 new apartments, but for real estate value of just over 4 million. So for a lower investment cost, about 60%, it's surely a real good operation for real estate valuation. It enables also creation of housing and bringing an additive income to the property. But finally, the topic that I think of its interest that Rise the Roof could have a real impact on the world of condominiums, particularly on the financing of energy retrofits. In fact, we applied the same method of large-scale analysis via our software to the asset management of co-ownership trusts. And for example, in this case, with Régie Franchet near Lyon, we detected out of 192 buildings under management, 36 eligible for rising. As an expressive example of what could be done, we have the project located Cours Albert Thomas in the 3rd district of Lyon, where we found a little more than 850 square meters in elevation and densification. The co-owner and us will place in competition developer both the building permits purged, but also the right and the agreement of the co-owner to carry out the project. In this process, the co-owner will recover just over 650,000 euros. And with this, they will be able to finance their energy renovation. That is to say, the facade and insulation, the renovation of all the joineries, the replacement of the ventilation, and for a little more than 450,000 euro of works. So that is a profitable operation for us, and that could be massively expanded nowadays. We have 8 similar projects in condominium right now, both in Paris, but also in the French regions, and realized that this can be a real lever for co-owner to finance energy renovation. So, building offsite, we talk about it with mod pods. So we work very closely with professional sector of the technical center in France now, of the building, to integrate offsite construction. And our aim is generating the process of rise by limiting the nuisance of housing, and especially on the people who live in this building. For us, it's a very important thing. So therefore, we'll be able to realize a lot of projects, as many projects as possible. So we were interested by experience of these people. It's a video too. I don't know why it's not working. It's a video of La Casa por Alterado. It's a firm in Barcelona, which has managed to put in place quite similar process. They have developed a modular construction. It's not working. Oh. A modular construction, and to address the market of upward elevation. They work with a 3-dimension or steel base, with solid wood floor plan or precast concrete. No, not this one. No. Sorry.
Gotta love Microsoft.
Yeah, it's okay. They were able to, with this kind of modular construction strategy, based on steel base, steel frame, with steel wood floor plan or precast concrete, wood wall or steel composites. They can build a 450 square meters extensions in only 2 days. And this approach is interesting because it enables us to build a raise the roof project of less than 500 square meters in less more than 3 months. Manufacturing the workshop takes 8 or 12 weeks. And after 2 days of installation and after 1 month and a half of finishing on site. So it's a real demonstration of what the constructor help us to do for managing this kind of market of upward elevation. So after we express this kind of perhaps next, please, thanks. We work with them on projects like this in Paris too. So it's time for now we work with professional lines too in order to develop prototypes with several companies, both in wood or in frame of every material. So we are really looking forward to our fit accomplishment in order to prove how this brings the process that the factor is engaged in. Here it's a project of social housing in Paris, and it's a project with 27 modular units. It's not working too, it's a GIF problem, but that doesn't matter. It's okay. And in this project, there's 27 module, in the project only in three days. It was incredible, and I'm sure that it's the future of project for upward elevation. So a factor is an hybrid company, that choose the process and analyze massively the address to facilitate the increase of social housing markets. And so we plan to work, of course, in Paris and in the greater Paris region too, but also I think some European town like German town or UK town perhaps could be interesting by this kind of project too. So finally, we work with an approach of research and development too. We recently have participated in particular calls of ADEME and French government on what could be the valorization of the roof in function of their use. So our aim is first creating housing or activities, when new type of office. We also work on the implementation of energy production source. So we also like the idea of developing biodiversity area too, because when you can build, we can plant. So it must be a very good thing for us. Our idea is to create a compensation in urbanization. So it's very important for a factor to develop this kind of way. A factor is aiming to answer this question to how urban space, airspace, can be given the best value. It's not only for money, but only for well-being. So that's what we are working on. So many thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Didier. That's a bit better. Well done.